most off-road capable version of this truck, the Tacoma TRD Pro, with 326 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. There's a lot to uncover, so let's test this on-road and off-road. The Tacoma has been the best-selling midsize pickup truck for years, but with an increasing list of competitors, has Toyota done enough to keep up with the paces? Let's go find out. Under the hood, we get a 2.4-liter four-cylinder turbocharged hybrid engine. There's also an electric motor that makes 48 horsepower stuffed between the 8-speed automatic transmission. It's an i-ForceMax hybrid, and the handoff between electric mode and the gasoline engine mode is seamless. It kind of sounds like one of those Corvette E-Rays where it shifts between electric and gasoline engine mode. It is pretty cool. Let's actually do a quick launch here. Let's put it into sport mode here and brake boost. Not bad. It's supposed to get to 0 to 60 in 7.1 seconds, and that is 60. Not too bad for a truck this size. It also sounds really good as well. It comes with the TRD performance intake and exhaust. Let's hear how that sounds. Cool how it bounces off the rev limiter as well. The shifts are actually pretty crispy. It's an 8-speed auto, way better than the 6-speed in the previous Tacoma. This thing is also rated to tow 6,000 pounds, and it has a combined MPG of 23 miles per gallon. For context, the outgoing V6 does 18 miles per gallon, so this is way better, and it's also a lot quicker. Although this engine is available in passenger cars like the Grand Highlander, Toyota gave this engine heavy-duty parts because it's anticipated that it's going to go through harder usage because it is a truck versus a passenger car. It pretty much drives like a truck. It sits on a TGN-AF truck platform, which is pretty much shared with all the other trucks like the Land Cruiser, the Tundra, the Sequoia, and the new 4Runner. And it's not overly stiff, but you can definitely tell that it's a truck and not a car. There's a double wishbone suspension up front, and it has coil spring multi-links in the rear. And the steering is actually fairly sharp in this car. It's not too bad for a truck. And when you get on the gas, power comes on right away thanks to that electric torque that you get right off the bat. The way it drives into the corner, a little bit of understeer, but it feels kind of like a sporty SUV. The body movements are very well controlled. It's actually pretty comfortable on-road and off-road as well, and it's quite easy to control. Even on a dirt road like this, the steering is really good, responsive. Much better than the previous Tacoma. It doesn't feel like it weighs 5,000 pounds. There is plenty of power, but it doesn't feel like it's pushing 465 pound-feet of torque. Like, you don't get all that power right away, so it just doesn't feel that torquey. For your drive modes, you have a sport mode, a normal mode, and an eco mode. And right now we are in sport. It feels pretty good. There's a little bit of brake dive in. There's plenty of power to tear across the desert or just any dirt trail. There is quite a bit of road noise here, especially with these all-terrain tires that you've got, and you can hear quite a bit of wind noise as well. But it's not too bad. I think it's a little bit better than the Land Cruiser. All that impressive on-road performance shouldn't distract you from where this truck does best. Remember, this is a TRD Pro. Alright, there's a little bit of a bump here. Oh, I think it got some airtime. Feels pretty good. This truck is literally designed to go high-speed off-roading, and it just eats all of these bumps up like it's just tiny little cracks on the road. What you do get are these isodynamic seats here, which is only available on the TRD Pro, and it has suspensions built in, and you can also adjust it. It does come with this little pump, and you can fill in more pressure, and there's an on-road and off-road switch. Right now it is in the off-road setting. It's a little hard to tell whether the seats are doing that much, but let me know if you guys can see it moving in the video. We are going through quite some deep bumps here, and it pretty much just feels fine for this truck. I feel like the seat doesn't do that much in terms of vertical movement control, but your head doesn't go side to side, so there's a lot of lateral dampening on the seats, so it feels good. It makes these bumps feel a lot softer, I think, but you kind of have to drive it back to back with the normal Tacoma to really feel the difference. In this truck, you also get a 2.5-inch Fox Racing QS3 internal bypass shots with a remote reservoir in the rear that you can also manually adjust, but you do have to get down there in the back so you can adjust how stiff it is. There are 3 different stiffness settings that you can customize for different types of terrain. You also have these Fox internal floating piston hydraulic bump stops, which are made for jumps. Okay. A little bit of air time. Because it's hydraulically assisted, it makes the landings feel a lot softer. The springs and the anti-roll bars are also tuned for high-speed handling. The upper control arms in the front are also forged for extra strength. On top of that, in the TRD Pro, you get a 2-inch lift in the front and a 1.5-inch lift in the back, and that gives you 11.5 inches of ground clearance, which we can test out right now on this tight bend. Because it's not a very big truck like the Tundra, it makes it a lot easier to maneuver through here. And I like how you have the gauges that shows the angle here, and you have a camera here which you can see more on the side and in the front, and especially because the hood vent in the front is quite big, sometimes it makes it challenging to see over the front, so the camera being there is a nice touch. You can really do some serious off-roading in this car. There's also a 4 low, 4 high, and 2 high controller here. It's electronically controlled here. And you also have your MTS mode, which you have deep snow, mud, sand, dirt, and auto mode that you can go through. Let's actually just leave it in auto right now. And you have your DAC crawl control. And you can test it out right now. Just put it in DAC. And you can set the speed here, and it will control how fast it goes down. You can adjust the speed using this controller down here as well. Makes it quite easy to maneuver, and all you have to worry about is steering. There's also a stability bar disconnect and a rear locker as well, which we don't even have to use today because this truck is already good enough for what we're putting it through. You can also manually adjust the TRD Pro's electronically disconnecting front anti-roll bars, which allows for increased reach of the front axle when disconnected. You also get pretty big 33-inch Goodyear Wrangler rugged terrain tires, lots of grip, and it just gives you lots of confidence going over these small bumps and the bigger bumps as well. The Trail Hunter is designed for slower speed off-roading. It does have a tire compressor built in, which this does not get, but the TRD Pro is more like Baja style jumping kind of truck where you're supposed to go fast, kind of like a Ford Raptor. And I think the suspension here is a little bit softer than the other Tacomas, especially the Trail Hunter, and it just makes it feel a little bit more comfy taking trails at higher speeds. All that means is it lets you get some real speed going through anything in this truck without worrying about breaking anything. And just in case, this truck is pretty well protected. You have a skid plate in the front, and you have a lot of underbody protection, and you have a rocker bar on the side, and you have this ARB bumper in the back. You also get quite a few off-road touches in the TRD Pro, including rigid fog lights, a light bar that only works when the high beams are on. You have your auxiliary 1, 2, 3 here in case you want to add more lights or accessories. And you also have your ARB recovery hooks in the rear. And this color in this truck is Terra color, which is special for the TRD Pro. This thing just feels right at home on the trail. I don't think this is Ranger Raptor good in terms of just off-road performance, but what you do get is the fact that it's a Toyota, meaning it's certainly dead reliable. Hopping inside the Tacoma, it is really nice in here. It actually feels quite luxurious. You do get your fake carbon fiber here, big Toyota logo, I mean just the text there. You get a lot of red stitching, and of course these really nice seats with the TRD badge in them. They're also heated and ventilated. You also get a heated steering wheel and physical climate control, which I do like. Up here, you get a 14-inch display, which has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and you can zoom in and out of it if you want the bar on the side or not. And it runs on Toyota's UI, which is quite easy to use. And then moving over here, you get a 12.3-inch digital gauge, which you can customize quite a bit of things. You can have your off-road information here, your fuel economy, your music, your driver assistance, and a bunch of other information that you can display in here. And you can also customize the style of the display if you want the sporty gauge or the smart gauge or the casual gauge or the tough gauge. And then you also get a heads-up display up there as well. You get a wireless charger, 2 USB-C ports here and a USB-C port here. You get storage here and a little handlebar here when you're jumping over some sand dunes in this car, and another handlebar here and one on that side. And you get a little cubby on the side to store some things. You also get your 2 cup holders here, which I like where they're placed because it's not in the way of the shifter. I like the traditional shifter in here as well. Your e-brake, your auto hold, and here is where you put it in 4 high, 2 high, or 4 low, and your drive mode controller. You get your fairly small center console in here, which you can fit maybe 2 water bottles in there, but there's quite a bit of space everywhere else. You get your digital mirror here, and you get your JBL speaker, and you can also remove the speaker from the actual car and use this as a portable speaker when you want to take it outside. You also get a sunroof up top, and these side windows are double paned, so it's extra quiet in here when you're cruising on the freeway. You also have Toyota Safety Sense 3.0, which comes with forward collision warning, your automatic emergency braking, your adaptive cruise control, which works great in this car, and your lane trace assist in this car. And you also get your auto high beams and your traffic sign recognition. And you also get the new proactive driver's assist, which is great. I also like how there's no piano black in here at all, which is great for off-roading. And this is also your key for the Tacoma. You don't get a Toyota badge on the back, you just get one in the front here. Okay, hopping in the back here, as you can see, there's not a lot of space. I am sitting right behind myself here. Not exactly that comfortable because of these isodynamic seats. You do get the cool shock looking things here and the pressure gauges, but it wouldn't be that comfortable if you're sitting here for an extended period of time. You also get 2 USB-C ports here and a 120 volt outlet here in case you want to charge something. Headroom's actually pretty good, but legroom is not in the back of the Tacoma. If you get the regular Tacoma, there's a lot more space because it doesn't have all this fancy suspension stuff. You can open the truck bed using the button on the side here or on the side there, or the truck release button. It is fully auto up and down. You get a 5-foot bed back here, and you also get a USB port in here and a 12 volt outlet here, and you also get a 120 volt AC outlet on that side. It's a fairly decent size truck bed. You get LED lighting throughout it as well. You also get a spare tire underneath the bed. This thing is just genuinely fun. Not everyone needs an off-road truck that can jump sand dunes across the desert, but the TRD Pro can do it and pretty much tackle any off-road terrain that you throw at it. It offers great on-road and off-road performance. It can also easily tow 6,000 pounds. It has the latest and greatest infotainment tech and driver assistance technology, and it's sure to have rock-solid reliability. Among its competitions, only the Toyota Tacoma comes with the reputation of dependability and reliability. However, Toyota wants $65,000 American for this TRD Pro trim, or $77,000 in Canada, which is a lot of cash, but it also comes with a lot of truck. I think I'd want one, but the fact that the Tundra TRD Pro is out there for only $7,000 more, I would consider that because you get a lot more truck, it's bigger, and it has a lot more space, and it's also quite a bit more comfy in terms of on-road driving. So if you're interested in a full-size pickup truck, I'd highly consider you check that out here. That's all, guys. Thanks for watching.